Time to go all in on a short on Bitcoin right now and the rest of cryptocurrency, and this is what a lot of people are doing currently, and a lot of people are actually making money on shorts. And I just want to show you a few pieces of the puzzle. Then I want to show you some interesting trade setups and show you my trades and whether it's a short trade, an all-in short trade, you'll see. And first you need to understand what is going into this trade and into the market and what is causing really this crazy volatility, and mostly to the downside, which looks like shorting the market makes more sense currently. So, and certainly I'm going to get to my trade setups that I showed you in the previous video, because one of them played out fantastically, actually two of them. So let's just dive straight into this and we'll make a very reasonable logical conclusion. So first of all, what is causing the down move again? Why is it not explosive to the upside? Because everything, like all the indicators, I'm not going to bore you to death, MVR, VRSI, stochastic, schmacastic, whatever, all of it is showing that we're in the most like fear and greed index, we're the most oversold we've ever been in the middle of the bull run, if you can call this in the middle of the bull run. So a lot of people are going to tell you, oh, all in, long, etc. So let's just relax and have a look at what we have objectively and look at the evidence of what we have. So certainly the reason why we are having such horrific price action on crypto is because S&P 500 is dumping, and US stocks, look at it, it's pretty crazy. Tesla lost like 60% of its value, which is pretty tremendous. And for S&P 500, even if you zoom out, it's not that terrible. But if you pay attention to what is Trump doing right now, this could actually get much worse. And this is what a lot of people are starting to say. And this is what the market is actually starting to price in as well. So before we come back to the chart, before we talk about trade setups and targets and whether we're going to be shorting Bitcoin down to at least 70K level, which is a very important 74K level here. And then the next one is like the zone of 65 to 69, which is the previous all-time high and a very important liquidity zone. So before we jump to conclusions, here is the main reason why we have the S&P 500 dumping, even though on this news, the market didn't really even care much about this anymore. But Trump came out and said that he's increasing tariffs and is going to put 50% tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, and starting tomorrow, which was the day before, and Ontario, 25% electricity tariff, etc. So, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. And then, Canada has began to file for selling its massive $324 billion U.S. Treasury holdings, which a lot of people can say that actually the result of this could be increase in Treasury supply, pushing bond prices down, and the yields, interest rates therefore up, and raising U.S. borrowing costs, and therefore recession, and this blah, blah, blah. So the trade war is continuing and it's ramping up, and for this particular reason, the market is not taking it very well, and certainly the highest risk assets in this instance is crypto, so this is what is suffering the most. But before we go all in on short, let me give you all the details. So that's why I'm always telling you, please watch my videos from the beginning and until the end so that you actually understand the context and you don't later complain that you didn't understand something. So moving on, I've made a post on X, which actually really explains the logic of Trump here, because remember, Trump had 6 bankruptcies. He doesn't care about short-term pain. He cares about long-term gain, which can be quite scary, and this is what the market is starting to realize. Trump, in my opinion, is actually setting up a stock market crash, which kind of is already beginning. The reason is very simple, and it kind of is smart. It kind of is objective, that the U.S. government needs to refinance $7 trillion in debt over the next 6 months, which is an insane amount of money. And Trump doesn't want to do this at the current 10-year yields. So this is obvious because it's just too expensive for the U.S. government, and it just is killing the country in general. So this is why he's letting the stock market drop while pushing bond prices higher, and as bond prices actually increase, yields fall, making it cheaper for the US government to refinance its debt. So it is a smart play long term. And certainly lower yields will also pressure the Fed to cut rates, which is ultimately bullish for risk assets. And hopefully on the 19th of March, previously said 17th, there was a mistake, so sorry. On the 19th of March, there's going to be a FOMC meeting, and the chances of a rate cut are currently close to 0. So if they do a rate cut, this would really kind of turn around the market, at least short term, because it's going to be very bullish for risk on assets. So that's why I said here, short-term pain, long-term gain, relax, and don't lose sight of the bigger picture. this is what you need to understand here. But certainly if you're an active trader and you're sitting in meme coin long 10x positions, this is not going to be helping you very much, because if in crypto, if we go, in Bitcoin, we go down to 74K, 60, or in this zone just to grab some liquidity and then finally take off when Trump gets what he wants, most people will be wrecked down to zero. That's why, for one, I told you before, please mind your leverage. Myself, I am more than 50% of my total allocation to crypto and millions of dollars is Bitcoin. My average entry price is 27,000. Certainly, on futures and all this stuff, you can get burnt. Please exercise proper risk and money management, be financially literate, and actually manage your money properly. It's money management. But anyway, moving on. What do you need to understand here, moving forward, is that there are good news, which are actually fully consumed by these bad news as to what the US government is currently doing. Fidelity, and this is what we've been looking towards. Fidelity files to add staking to its Ethereum ETF. I told you it's going to happen. And it's happening in the background. While there is so much FUD, so much fear, they are actually doing the things they spoke about internally and quietly, and all this fear is actually at the forefront of everything. So they're adding it, and it's going to happen. It's obvious. And it's going to be the first, when there is volume in Ethereum, a deflationary asset that actually pays more dividends than 99% of US S&P 500 stocks. So it's going to be a crazy asset for Wall Street. And that's why Ethereum is actually kind of holding on, because people understand that the biggest bet, and that's why Trump is accumulating hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Ethereum. It's obvious. But, well, we'll get to it in just a second. Then, we have this good news come out, and right after, Donald Trump comes out and he just says, he admitted that the recession is possible and it actually may be coming this year because of the economic policies, whatever. So, and then the market dropped more. S&P 500 actually showed a red candle again. So he is doing his best to squeeze Fed. He's doing his best exactly in terms of his strategy, what I've just disclosed here, which is pretty intense. Yeah, right. I mean, it's all a plan. It's all a strategy. And then he comes out later on and says that the market itself doesn't concern him and that markets are going up and down and blah, blah, blah. But we have to rebuild the country. And he also said he doesn't see a recession. So first of all, he says, oh, it's possible. Then he says, oh, I don't see a recession. Isn't that kind of all planned? Do you think he's doing this shit randomly? I honestly do not believe so. So therefore, I also made another post on X. I said it's all part of the plan. Fidelity files to add staking for Ethereum ETF. You gotta love it, and you honestly gotta love this. If you actually understand the scheme of things here, it's insane. So step one, crash the markets and facilitate the change of hands to of the soundest assets in the history of humankind, Bitcoin and Ethereum. So make people sell you their Ethereum. Step two, obviously, during this time, accumulate as much of it as you can yourself, and they are doing it. Open your eyes, you'll see it. Step three, roll out all the news and changes like the one above. For example, adding staking to Ethereum ETF. And then when everybody is out, finally, step four, pump it to Valhalla. This is what they're doing. This is their plan. They understand this very well. So therefore, understand this plan, reduce leverage, don't surrender your spot. As you've seen, myself on my swing futures trades on Bybit, I've reduced leverage. I've reduced those sizes. I didn't sell any of my Bitcoin, Ethereum, my spot holdings, and I will not, because this is something I can sit on for the next 10 years if that's what it takes. So you need to reduce risk. So, but this is the whole strategy. If you understand this, short-term pain, just make sure you have proper risk and money management so you survive any kind of price action. But generally speaking, understanding this, now getting to the point, and that's actually about our trade setups. One of the trade setups that played out fantastically. By the way, if you've taken a trade setup on Bitcoin, it wasn't really a trade setup, but I set at a very important level right here is 78K, which is a local low, and it kind of played out nicely if you didn't get stopped out, but I didn't really provide a trade setup here. When it comes to Ethereum, there isn't really that very much interesting stuff for the time being. Trump coin, I did not take this trade, but if you look at a Trump coin trade, it actually would have taken the trade kind of barely, but my order wasn't taken, full disclosure. So the only order that was taken for me, it was on Solana, because it kind of touched it here and then dipped a little bit lower with the target of 155. So here it is, full disclosure, this is the only position I have in this account for active trading. So a small trade, nothing fancy. If it plays out, I'll make like $15,000. If it doesn't, I will lose nothing because my stop loss is currently right here. I've put it into no loss. So as soon as there is an impulse with this kind of market, when the shit can keep dropping, you can always take these reversal trades, but always put your stop loss into profit and just forget about it. In case if it's a reversal, it will make good money. If there's going to be a continuation, at least you will not lose big money. So before I make a conclusion as to whether we're going to be shorting the market heavily right now, let me remind you about Bybit, that there is an exclusive link in the description of this video where you can claim up to $30,000 initial deposit bonuses and up to 42% discount on trading fees. And you can always create a new account to enjoy these bonuses using, for example, a different form of identification, such as a driver's license. And Bybit currently has a thicker order book liquidity than Binance. So if you actually compare the order book on Binance and on Bybit, you will see that it's actually thicker than on Binance, and Binance is arguably bigger than Bybit. Bybit is huge, but Binance is just incredibly huge. So, and Bybit has better liquidity right now. So if you're trading anywhere, I mean, it's not financial advice, but I personally trade actively in my swing trades also on Bybit, and you can claim incredible bonuses with the links down in the description of this video. Now, when it comes to me and, taking these big short trades and really shorting the market, understanding the gravity of the situation and what they're doing and their entire strategy, which I've just explained, a reversal can come at any point with any piece in news. And if we look at macroeconomic data and economic data in general, do we see a possibility of a recession? Certainly it can happen at an instant, and Trump doesn't really care about short term. So that's why there is fear. But overall, it doesn't really seem so. We might find a bottom somewhere finally in the vicinity, consolidate, and this will be it. And if you're going to be taking big short trades, you should have taken it from, I don't know, 95K. And if you did, congratulations, but it was just a random guess, quite frankly, because the expectation was quite the opposite. And it's just from the retail perspective, but institutional as well. So that being said, I'm not going to be taking any short trades unless they are local, small, and just with controlled risk. Yes, but big trades, shorting Bitcoin down to 50,000, good luck. But in order for you not to get wrecked in this market, check out this quick tutorial popping up on your screen as to how to trade crypto with proper risk and money management. See you next video.